Hey everyone, I'm the Rusty Autoholic guy where you see every single nut and bolt that I work on. And in this video, I'm hoping to wrap up the last of the major repairs to my 2005 Wrangler Unlimited Rubicon. And today I am trying to tackle the radiator. Now, I went ahead and went to my local parts store. I got a new thermostat, a new gasket for the thermostat, new hoses just in case I need them, and all new coolant. But I already have the radiator, so I'm kind of hoping, because I've done this a couple of times, this goes really quick, unlike the exhaust. So, time lapse. First, we're removing the puke tank. Next, I'm trying to remove the clutch fan with no success. Decide to go ahead and drain the radiator. Next, I'm removing the upper radiator hose from the radiator. Again, trying to remove the clutch fan from the pulley. To remove the clutch fan, I'm removing the idler pulley so I can hook a chain to a bolt and to the water pump pulley so I can loosen the clutch fan. With the clutch fan loose, I'm now removing the chain from the water pump pulley and the idler bolt that I had put in the block. Now we're removing the bolts that hold the fan shroud to the radiator. With everything loose, I'm lifting the fan shroud and clutch fan together out of the Jeep. Now I'm disconnecting the lower radiator hose to the radiator. And with everything disconnected, I can now unfasten the radiator from the core support in the Wrangler and remove the bad radiator from the engine bay. Now we're disconnecting the upper radiator heater hose and the fasteners from the thermostat housing so we can replace the thermostat and put in a new thermostat gasket. It's important to clean off both mounting surfaces and remove any old gasket material so the new gasket will seal properly. Installing the new gasket, thermostat, and reattaching the thermostat housing. Okay guys, it's been a couple of days. I got a haircut and we have a Mishimoto radiator. So I had pulled out my spare radiator, and somehow between the last video where I had shown it to you with Project Felicity and me putting it back on a shelf, I chucked a hole in it. So went with this Mishimoto radiator that I got off of eBay. So yeah, let's set up time lapse, unbox this, and get the LJ Rubicon back together. First, I removed the new Mishimoto radiator from the box. Next, I'm doing a visual inspection of the radiator and all the components that come with it to make sure it's in good shape. Now I'm testing the new Mishimoto radiator into the engine bay. I had also gotten new hardware to fasten the radiator to the radiator core on the Wrangler. As you're about to see, the radiator core has these clips that you fasten the radiator to, and I was having a difficult time getting all 4 bolts to line up to the clips on the radiator support core. Here you can see me trying to just force one of the bolts into the clips, which did not work. What I ended up doing was removing the radiator back out of the engine bay and then putting the new bolts into each clip and verifying each clip was in place correctly. Then I was able to install the radiator and get all 4 bolts installed through the radiator into the radiator support core. With the radiator secured, I next reattach the lower radiator hose to the Mishimoto radiator. Next, I reinstall the idler pulley and retension the belt onto the engine. Next, I lower the clutch fan and shroud back into the engine bay. With the clutch fan installed, now I'm adding the fasteners through the fan shroud into the Mishimoto radiator to hold the fan shroud in place. With the fan shroud in place, I next reinstall the radiator hose and clamps. The hose on the puke tank was pretty dry rotted, so I decided to remove the original hose and cut a new hose to install on the puke tank before I installed it on the radiator. With everything reinstalled on the Wrangler, it was time to add coolant to the new Mishimoto Radiator. It's always a good idea to check for leaks whenever you mess with your cooling system on your vehicle. While I haven't always done this in the past, I decided it was a good idea to clean up my workspace and put all the tools away before I started the Wrangler to check to see if the radiator was working correctly. If you look at the temperature gauge on the bottom right, you can see it quickly climb to 210 and hold steady even though I revved the engine a few times. Okay guys, the radiator's in. I think you saw during time lapse, it got up to about 210 and then stayed there, which is exactly what we wanted to do. So, not all according to plan. I wasn't planning on buying another radiator. I was hoping to use my spare, but in the end it all worked out. So, leave a comment down below, give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. If you didn't, you know what to do. And hey, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, consider subscribing. And if you have, as always, thank you. It means the world to me, and I'll see you in the next video very soon. Goodbye.